This iconic building, in many ways, is the fulcrum of attraction in Dubai and has been the fulcrum of development in Dubai in many ways. So it's great to see all of you having assembled at Burj Khalifa. And all others who are watching from different parts of the world, namaskaram to every one of you, and my gratitude to UAE government, particularly the Honorable Minister of Environment, Madam Narayan, and also my dear brother Sheikh Narayan, who is the Tolerance Minister. Thank you very much for all of you, because without your support, this level of intensity wouldn't have built up. I must tell you that this has been a momentous movement across the world. The movement, the love for soil has been instilled in people's hearts, and everywhere in the world this has spread like a wave. Especially in India, it's been a stupendous wave, and every head of state government, city governments have committed that they will go ahead with this. Already we are working with them on how to make an economic policy of technicalities of soil and what it is. We are working with other governments also now. We look forward to working with UAE definitely. UAE has a very significantly enthusiastic and visionary government that definitely things will go forward in UAE. Though it is a desert state, what has been done till now and what is envisioned is truly wonderful, and we will pursue that. More than anything, I want all of you to know that it's your love and support which made this movement what it is, a movement like no other. We have managed to touch, by 23rd of June, we have managed to touch 3.91 billion people. It's fantastic. I owe this to you, that every one of you who stood up, every one of you who have enhanced the message in so many different ways. Well, is our work over? No, it's not over, it's just begun. The important aspect of this Save Soil movement was to change the narrative. Because just 4 months ago, even in very important conferences and conventions where the world came together to talk about global warming and climate change, the word soil was not mentioned. Today, literally across the world, people are talking about soil, governments are discussing about soil regeneration programs, budgets are being allocated, things are happening. But is it enough? No. Because right now, I'm very sure the soil policies, soil regeneration policies will come through in almost all countries on the planet. But the challenge is the pace or the speed at which the implementation will happen. So I beseech all of you that every one of you should understand the mission is not over. The mission of changing the narrative is done, but to ensure that it's implemented, to ensure that in this generation we turn the soil back to its richness, turn the soil back to the possibility of life that it is, because the largest living system on this planet and also in the known universe is the topsoil on this planet. The topsoil, 15 to 18 inches of soil, is the cream of this earth. This cream has to be tended to gently. If you are already not completely shifted to supermarket, if you had a mother or a grandmother, if she has to handle the cream, she always handled it so gently. That's what we need to do, a gentler way of doing our agriculture, a gentler and more sensible way of growing our food, so that food is not just for us, food is there for us and every other living creature, and also above all for many, many, many generations to come or forever. Because this is not our property, soil is not our property to expand, it is a legacy, it is a responsibility. This is why this moment we crafted not as a protest, not as an agitation, not as an expression of our anger or resentment against whoever is supposed to have caused it. No, we need to understand, we should stop pointing fingers at each other. The most important thing to understand is every one of us knowingly or unknowingly, have been a part of this destruction. The only way around is that every one of us become a part of the solution. There is simply no other way. So there is no one evil force which is destroying the soil on this planet. It is all of us in pursuit of our happiness and well-being. We just have to come to our senses and turn this around. For this to be turned around, you doing small things with soil is not the answer, because we are not doing this for our satisfaction. We are aiming for a solution. If the solution has to happen, the agricultural lands in India and the world, the agricultural lands everywhere, and also the degraded lands all over the world needs to be tended to. If this needs to be tended to, the most important thing is that soil policies should change and they must be incentive-driven. If they're not incentive-driven, the farmers are not capable of turning this around, because the farm economy around the world is in such a fragile state that if you as much as try to make any changes, it will just collapse. So it has to be incentive-based. We have come up with a three-pronged incentive system as to how this can be solved. As a part of this, we are working with various institutions and companies to see how this can be brought about along with government policies. One important thing is, initially, there has to be, because most parts of the world, the agricultural soil, the depletion has happened to a point where the organic content has gone below 1%. This must be very clear, because I see a lot of people are confusing these two things. Organic content and carbon content in the soil are two different things. The carbon content has become dominant because everybody is talking about climate change alone as a separate phenomenon. But we need to understand the Save Soil movement is about regenerating life on this planet. When I say regenerating life on this planet, we are life, every other creature on this planet is life, the trees are life, but there is a foundational life which is the microorganisms. That is depleting at an alarming pace. Approximately, according to UNFAO, 27,000 species of these organisms are going extinct simply because they have no food to eat, as they can eat only organic substance, organic content in the soil. See, you just started thinking about eating organic foods. That is the only way they live. They cannot eat anything else. So there is no food in the soil. That is why the depletion is happening. Why there is no food? Because there are only two sources of organic content on this planet and in the known universe, which is plant life and animal life. As plant life and animal life recedes from farmland, the soil starts depleting. So this has to put back means there needs to be a government incentive. The second level is we are right now seriously focusing on is to simplify the carbon credit market so that the farmer can benefit, because soil is the largest carbon sink on the planet. If we don't make use of it, then we have failed in our missions to halt the global warming process to continue. And the next is that there must be a market recognition. Right now, as I rode into India, people were thrusting mangoes in my face and saying, "Sadhguru, this is an organic mango." I said, "Can you give me an inorganic one?" Well, they're shocked about that. But yes, I want you to understand, the term organic is not defining anything. If your definition of organic is in terms of don't use pesticides, fertilizer or any other chemicals, I want everybody to understand, do not say irresponsible things in this direction, because if we do not use any pesticides or fertilizers, right now if we stop it, our food production could come down to 25% of what it is. So if we have to grow food without these chemicals in the future, the only thing and the most important thing and the only thing that you need to do is to enhance the quality of the soil. Soil should become so super alive with life that you can grow crops and feed these 8 billion people without using chemicals and fertilizers, but that may take a certain amount of time. If you raise the organic content, the use of fertilizer will start sliding down naturally, and that's how it needs to happen. But if you ban these things, then there will be serious food crisis. Already this year, World Food Program is predicting about 6 to 7 famines, 6 to 7 nations going into famines, and severe famines have already started manifesting in 2 to 3 nations. This is happening due to a variety of reasons. Of course, everybody is pointing towards the war. Yes, war might have disrupted certain supply chains, but the important thing we need to understand is food must grow where people are. As long as we don't grow food where people are, populations will always be vulnerable for these kind of changes. What about international trade in agricultural products? That will continue, but the basic food at least 40% of the food for a given population, irrespective of what kind of land. I would say even for UAE, at least 40% of the food must be grown there for future security, food security of these populations. It's extremely important to do this, not only for human populations. You must understand, when vegetation comes back, it sustains every other life. Above all, the foundational life that we call as microbial life. So, we need to have market recognition. Means right now, it's just organic, you don't know what is in it. So we want to create a new branding that, as right now most of the lands are below 1% in the world, we must create this, the branding. If it reaches 3%, let's say, this is what the incentive is about, to get it to 3%. If it gets to 3%, we know what are the extra micronutrients which are in the product, and what are the health benefits, what are the preventive health benefits, what is the lowering of stress upon healthcare systems of that nation and productivity of that population. All this we know. We just have to collate all this and make this a market recognizable thing, that if it's 3% it gets this kind of price, if it's 4% it gets the next level of price, if it's 6% it gets the next level of price. Like this, we must specify the organic content so that the farmer benefits. One important thing we need to do is, right now our survey shows in India, nearly 62% of the population is in farming. Generally in the world, over 50% of the world's population is still in farming. So if you're talking about bringing well-being to human beings, you cannot address anything without enhancing the quality of farming and without enhancing the remunerative process of farming. That is, every farmer in the world must at least earn as much as a doctor or an engineer or a lawyer or whatever else is making them pile up into urban centers. This is happening because there is not enough remuneration in farming. This needs to happen. Initially it must be intensive driven, then they must benefit from the carbon credit market because they are doing a great service to the world without being recognized. And the next thing is, in the marketplace, there must be higher level of remuneration for the farmers who strive to regenerate the soil. With this policy in place, we can turn this around. Even with very minimal investment, in 6 to 8 years we can make a difference. If the necessary investment is there, if the large enough investments are there, within 12 to 24 months. But right now I beseech every one of you, at least for next 12 months, I know Dubai is a place, a confluence of nationalities, religions, races, all kinds of people. This is really a melting pot. Irrespective of what you believe in, I want you to make 10 minutes of your day for the next 12 months, just 10 minutes a day. Your worship should be about enhancing the soil message. Doing this, you need to build your capabilities, research yourself, and spread the message of soil, how important it is. Keep this wave up. In the next 12 months, I'm quite confident Thank you very much. It's been wonderful to see all of you who are in miniature homes. Great to be here. I look forward to being in Dubai. My congratulations and gratitude once again to the Honorable Minister of Environment and the Honorable Excellency Travel Minister. is taking in. Thank you very much. Let's make it happen. Say it happen. Let's make it happen.
This very body is soil. My body, your body, everybody is just soil body.